Beat that ass nigga, yeah, I beat up Radon. Beat that ass nigga, yeah, I beat up Radon. Hey, no longer spawns. Hey. So I finally beat the main story in the DLC and a little bit of the side content, but I feel like I put enough time in to actually review it, so let's talk about it.
Love you forever, but sometimes we seem to disagree. Pray that you protect and increase my sympathy. I'm a mini you, one day I'll have a mini me. I'm your son, I shouldn't treat you like an enemy. I get annoyed when you point out all my tendencies.
So if I had to sum up my experience in one word, that word would just be damn. These niggas did everything in their power to make this shit as difficult as possible. That's like, damn. Then damn. That word really sums up everything. Gang, I promise you, if you go back to the base game, it's damn near Weenie Hut General compared to the DLC. I'm not gonna lie. Everything you encounter in Shadow of the Erdtree can kill you in seconds if you're not careful. This shit will humble you in the first 2 minutes of you loading into the damn map. I'm sure I'm not the only one that had this experience. When we first spawned in to hop on Torrent, and you see that big ass Hawaiian candle stuffing around that bitch like he run the place, it was my first instinct to go fight folks ass. No scatter tree fragments, none of that shit. This nigga was stomping on my lands like it's his. Nigga, I'm the Elden Lord. Obviously, he beat my ass, but it's about the mindset and the tension, you feel me? Elden Ring really hit us with like the tree sentinel effect again, and as the Elden Lord, it made me feel like a bitch personally. I don't really like that. That one experience is pretty much my whole experience with the DLC. It pretty much sums up everything. This shit is difficult, gang. I thought I'd be disappointed because there weren't as many like remembrance bosses, but they made what's here so difficult that you can't just breeze through it and you have no choice but to take your time. And as an extra countermeasure, the whole concept of the scatter tree fragments and the spirit ashes is a really clever way to put everybody in the same playing field and like restrict the niggas that's level 500 and shit now. But that's enough general speak. Let's really get into what everyone wants to talk about, the bosses. So I'm gonna talk about the main ones I fought. Personally, I didn't fight all of them, but I'm gonna rank them from easiest to hardest as well. The easiest, in my opinion, is probably Romina, the centipede scorpion lady, in my opinion. I think she's the easiest. So, any Souls veterans out there can correct me if necessary, but it seems like the recipe for most of these Souls games and these Souls bosses is to have like a first phase. That with time you can damn near like master it, right? They have some kind of really cool phase transition that's like visually, it changes the visuals of the fight, it changes the appearance of the boss, and some of their properties of their attacks, but in the second phase, they still use some of the first phase attacks, but they've been altered in some kind of way to fuck with you and make you panic, if that makes sense, to make you lose your composure. But there's also a few new attacks mixed in to keep you on your toes, to keep the fight like fresh type shit. So with Romina, it kind of felt like the only threat in her second phase for real is the attack where she does like the 3 swipes in the air and she leaves like the ride butterflies behind that shit. But that wasn't hard to dodge in my opinion. I started off using Rivers of Blood for this fight and I was dying at first, but then I looked at the 70 int my build had and I was like, hey gang, why your dumb ass not using magic? So I put on Great Glintstone Shard and this fight got pretty easy after that, I'm not gonna lie. I can see like the novelty at first, I can see how like kind of the centipede and the scorpion attack can get you at first, but after a while you start to like lock in on those 2 parts of her body and you can tell her what attack she's about to do. But overall, I spent about like 40 minutes with this fight and it felt like a really nice break. Compared to the rest of the fights in the DLC, it was still moderately challenging though. I just feel like the competition is really tough in this DLC, so that's why it's the easiest on this list. Next fight is the Golden Hippo. So, I seen my homie Uno talking about this on Twitter, and once I looked down, I walked through his door, and I looked down, and I seen Golden Hippopotamus at the bottom of my screen. I was like, oh no. And he was right. This boss can be pretty difficult depending on what you're using. The way I have my build set up is to be good at magic first, but if push come to shove, I can do pretty much anything else I want. Looking back, I probably could have beat him with magic. I ended up still using like Blasphemous Blade because he's apparently hella weak to fire. And after I used Blasphemous Blade, the fight got pretty easy after that. Yeah, I know, dirty Blasphemous Blade user, shut the fuck up, niggas in the game. The Golden Hippo kind of has the same weaknesses as Romina in terms of like not changing up his attacks too much from the first phase. But one thing the Golden Hippo has over her is how distracting its attacks actually are. A lot of the Golden Hippo second phase moves are kind of like visually appealing. So my goof ass would just sit there and be like, oh, pretty. And then boom, my stupid ass died because I'm distracted. I'm fucking starstruck by the move. But it just looked like he's doing a lot. He really isn't doing that much, if that makes sense. For example, the phase transition where he shoots like quails down on you is just like that one Elden Beast attack And the spinning one barely hit me, and it didn't do a crazy amount of damage when it hit me. And the rolling attack is super straightforward too. As long as you don't panic, because it looked like he's doing the most in this fight, you should be straight. I'm not gonna lie, he does have some pretty odd hitboxes though. It was this one time where I swear I rolled away from his mouth grab and I just teleported into folks' mouth. Pause. The next fight is the Dancing Lion. And this fight is difficulty is mostly due to the camera spazzing out, gang, I swear. If I rank the camera in this fight, I was fighting that camera harder than I was fighting Rellana, to keep it a being with you. I think this fight is really good, right? And it's like the market effect in the DLC. I think the fade transition was really cool and unique looking. I don't think the camera was ready for like a boss that had dimensions like this, because that hoe was tweaking for during this fight. I swear it was. Whenever you got close to a wall with this nigga next to you, you couldn't see anything. Like the fight was literally unplayable because you couldn't see him. I think if they fix the camera in this fight, it will be way more fun. It will be actually a better fight in every way, in my opinion. That's the only problem with this fight. If they fix this could be like one of the best fights in the actual like whole game, base game and DLC. The Dancing Lion was still pretty simple and straightforward. Rellana is the next fight, and she's definitely a contender for best fight in the whole series. And I think it's due simply because of its simplicity. This is just a raw ass fight. The fight makes like Melania look like Third Strike Shine. So Rellana is just like a fight that makes you lock in. The arena isn't very big, so you can't run for her the whole time. And her attacks are just fun to learn. It's really not much to say besides this is just a really good and straight up fight. The moon attack is another one of those really gorgeous attacks, but it's pretty easy to dodge. And the other attack where she shoots a little magic waves from her sword is a cool attack, but once you get it, you got it. One thing that could really get you is between like swipe 3 or 4 or swipe 4 or 5, and it's like really fast and it's a tight window, it might catch you. But overall, this is the most straightforward fight in the whole DLC, and I really love this fight. Next is Leia and her allies. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm not gonna lie. This fight pissed me off. So I decided to challenge myself for my first playthrough of the DLC and not use any summons. So I'm pretty sure you can imagine how a fight with 2 people constantly aggroing you and actively attacking you and input reading you when you try to drink a flask and, you know, not die could be pretty annoying. And boy, was it. I had to fight all 3. The Hornset, I don't remember the second nigga name, and Leia. The first dude was mildly annoying, but he wasn't so bad when he decided to die. Sometimes he didn't. But when the second nigga and Leia come around, boy, it is the most annoying shit I damn near ever played. And that's all because that Kung Lao ass nigga has 97 endurance and damn near the same sprint speed as you. Like, gang, this nigga is on your ass at all times, bro. Like, dude, if you don't back your employee in a month ass up, fool, dick eater, bro, Mikula dick eater, back the fuck up. And whenever you need to get a flask off, he makes sure his bitch ass put a little extra pep in him step, bro. He just such a hoe, fool. I hate that nigga. Leia doesn't help by spamming that damn Ash of War while he's sniffing your ass cheeks. You dodge Leia's Ash of War, you slow down. And you slow down. Now you want a damn killer instinct combo with no frame data knowledge and no combo breaker, nigga. To beat it, I put on Radahn's blades, use that gravity ability. It seemed to work for a little while. I don't like this fight because Kung Lao ass is like unnecessarily annoying. That's the only thing I don't like about this fight. But it was okay. For my second hardest boss, I'm gonna have to go with Messmer. So this fight is godlike, right? I think this fight is really godlike. But there's a couple hitboxes that really screwed me over in this fight that pissed me off so much. So with one of his attacks, it's not the one where he doesn't have the flame on his spear. There's an attack where he has a combo and he ends it with a thrust with the flame on his spear type shit. I feel like the hitbox on that thrust alone stays out for completely too long. Like, it's like unholy amount of time. There are a couple times where I felt like I perfectly timed the dodge and the thrust, and I was like to the left of his spear completely, and I was getting hit with the attack and it already been out for like a few frames already. So I think the hitbox would no longer be active. In my 3 or 4 hours of fighting that nigga, that one move killed me on so many good runs. And also, one of the hitboxes on his snake attack is pretty odd too, but it wasn't as bad as the thrust one, bro. And sometimes the fire in some of his attacks make it a little hard to see him, but it wasn't that bad. Besides that, this is an amazing fight. And the opening of the fight in phase 2 really gave me like phase 2 Melania vibes, but on like a bigger scale. And his phase 2 is super cool in hindsight. Like, after getting my ass beat, his phase 2 is super cool in my opinion. The snake attacks feel like super duper good. It feels really rewarding when you finally learn how to dodge them. This fight just feels epic for the most part, and it's really fair. And for me to even say this after he beat my ass for 3 to 4 hours, you know I really mean it. Like, I think this fight is great. Obviously, the last and most difficult fight is Radahn. I'm not gonna lie, I hate this nigga, and I think a lot of you do too. The way this fight went for me was like the first 3 hours, it was like a normal Souls boss experience. But then I got disgustingly good at the first phase, and I was like, I should be able to beat this fight. And you remember that Souls recipe I said earlier, right? Yeah, them niggas said, oh, that's what you thought this was? And threw us a big fuck you with the second phase completely. They damn near altered everything about his phase 1 attacks to the point where in some cases you're genuinely gonna have to accept getting hit by something. All of his phase 1 attacks now have these beams of light that follow his half of his blades, and they shoot out one at a time. So sometimes you could dodge that shit perfectly. You still gonna have to take that L, my nigga. It's just what it is. Throughout my whole 8 hours of fighting this nigga, I have never successfully dodged his second phase gravity attack. If I got caught by the screen, I have never dodged that shit. That shit right there is ridiculous. And Miyazaki ass know it, goddammit. He know it. Side note, I do think it's kind of cool that Mikula convinces you to surfer if Radahn grabs you twice. I think that's really a cool little detail. It's a cool way to end the fight. I think that's pretty cool. If you look at my last run of this fight, you can see how much you have to lock in and how damn near perfect you have to play. Nigga, this is the hardest thing I had to do in my 20 years of gaming in general. After I beat Radahn, I had to turn on Kendrick's live performance of Not Like Us and C-walk on that nigga Radahn's grave. And now that I'm looking at this in hindsight, I still love this bitch ass fight, man. I really do. Like, am I mentally ill or some shit? Like, this same fight that I would just call it ass and unfair literally 24 hours ago is now one of my favorite boss fights of all time. I think I like this fight more than the base game Radahn fight, and I think that's one of the best fights in the series. I'm not gonna lie, beating this fight with or without a summon is an achievement within itself, and I mean it. I don't really give a fuck if you use a summon or not, bro. If you beat this fight, this is an achievement. I watched my homie try that shit, and Radahn wouldn't even let the nigga get the summon off anyway. So I'm assuming that a lot of people that use summons had to learn the first phase regardless. I think as of right now, I think Kai might still be fighting him, and I don't blame a nigga. Nigga, that nigga's a problem. That could have easily been me as well.
This is why I hate Steve. Yo, Steve Harvey, you a fucking bitch ass nigga. I hate your fucking bald head and your fucking mustache. Why the fuck you doing game shows, nigga?
What the fuck Steve Harvey do, G? Anybody that's under the sound of my voice that's stuck on Radahn, gang, keep at it. He is beatable. You can win that fight. My number one piece of advice in this fight is to prioritize what you want to get hit by and what you don't want to get hit by. Because you're going to get hit. That's just how the fight is. This game and the DLC up to this point has kind of really trained you to avoid getting hit by anything. But in this fight, it kind of throws you a curveball. It's so easy to get grazed by something in the second stage that it'll take a fairly smelly ass to no-hit this boss. Even though I do see that smelly ass end up posting that no-hit Radahn run, big ups to you, nigga. You raw as fuck. Like, it's simple, for you just that nigga. The fight is still phenomenal in my book, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a great finale to an epic ass DLC. Miyazaki and FromSoft, I really hate you niggas, but y'all did an amazing job with every boss, and I appreciate how much love you put in this DLC for real. And I can't wait to play more of it. The areas are beautiful. I like how much they contrast from the base game. I think I said something in my base game review, which you can go back and watch. This is gonna be on the card somewhere right now. I think I referred to, like, you opening the door, and the first time you open the door to see Limgrave and the Erdtree in the sky and shit, and how it's this beautiful and lively, like, green landscape, and then you go in the DLC, it's the opposite, but it's still beautiful in its own way. So once you spawn in and go forward a little bit, you see, like, I think it's the Scatter Tree, and it's very, like, barren wasteland type shit, like, completely opposite of Limgrave. And there's, like, shadow people with graves everywhere. It's really grim, but it's still, like, gorgeous and shit. And I haven't even explored all the areas yet, and I will continue playing. From what I've seen, though, it looks all amazing. All of it looks great. I still need to try out the new weapons, too. I plan to do some kind of playthrough with the hand-to-hand shit, because it just looks so cool. So let me know if in the comments that's something you want to see on my gaming channel. Overall, I had an amazing time so far with the DLC. I've seen a lot of people review bombing it to the point where it has, like, mixed reviews on Steam or some shit. I'm not gonna lie. There's no more efficient way to scream I'm ass and I'm a bitch than to review bomb this. I'm not gonna lie to you, gangster. It's got some issues that should be fixed, and it's not perfect, but I can tell you one thing, it ain't very far from perfect. It ain't very far from it. If you think this game is too difficult and this DLC is too difficult, and you wanna just drop it, cool. Do your thing. But don't just, like, soil these niggas hard work because you a bitch. Like, come on, bro. There aren't that many developers left that push this much love into their game. And FromSoft is amongst the very few. So if a game feels too difficult, for the most part, that's just how they express their love for us. And when you look back after beating Rellana, you will feel the same way. So stop being a bitch and get better. We all have to. Why are you exempt? But that's all for me. If you like to see my playthrough of Shadow the Erdtree, it's gonna be up on the end cards on my second channel. Also, go drop a sub on my Let's Play channel. And as always, man, I hope y'all have a great day, man. Love y'all, man. Peace.